talking about my grandparents' house, had a hole in the floor, and they told us to stay away from it, and I completely forgot. Well, the kind of judgments that this lesson is talking about can be like that. We can actually forget why we have a certain opinion or, feel a certain way about people and so forth. The good news is, how can I determine if I have hidden judgments in my heart? This will be accomplished with help from Christian counselor. And 5:16 says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Okay, anybody have any comments on what we've done so far?
Good stuff.
Just a side thing, that the thing about not remembering incidents or that color your perception of people, that kind of thing. Racism is like that. It's something that you see a change in every generation about it, but that as a person gets older, maybe they kind of revert back to some of their childhood stuff, things that they were taught that were wrong, but that still colors their perception of things that are happening in the present day.
Sure.
And their responses to things. That person can't come on my property and mow my yard, even if I can't mow my yard. Somebody else has to come. Things like that. Well, there's no reason why that particular person is just a prejudice of yours that is so ingrained from your childhood. Maybe you even got past that in your adulthood, but now here it is later, and you're reverting back to all those things. So you don't know why you feel that way because you don't remember all that, and you don't remember the subtle training that you got even that they got from their parents, humankind, or I think we still participate. People still participate in things like racism, but at least it's there's awareness about it these days.
Yeah, and one thing that comes to my mind is, when we had Brother Linnell here, and he did now my mind just slipped again, whatever we call the training. Inner healing, yeah. So he went over the inner healing, and that roundabout way what this is referring to.
Yeah.
There's another version of it that's called cutting out the root of evil that I found online. That's a similar program. It's about figuring out where things come from and then doing something about it. Sure. Okay. So the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Psalmist said, Lord, search my heart, and if there be any evil way in me, show me. And I think that's a very useful way of doing it. Okay, so this is what Christian counseling does. It's simply a time of examination and exploration that can help identify hidden judgment. Once they're covered, prayer, forgiveness ensues, and healing, deliverance, and freedom takes place. I got another wrote here that you can forgive, but watch that it doesn't affect how you treat them later. Right. That kind of ties in with what you said. But personally, speaking for myself, but I imagine almost everybody is this way. There's somebody in my past that I got mad at. They hurt me or whatever. And that comes up in your mind again, and again. And some of the things that I think about happened back when I was a kid. Good grief, we're talking 40 years ago. And I get mad at them all again. So,
That's the root.
well, you have to forgive and forgive. Forgive. Because if you don't do that over and over, next time you see that person, I haven't bumped into these particular people, so I don't know what would happen. But I hope the right thing would happen. So can I just pray to Jesus by myself and be forgiven? The answer is yes. We can only go to the Father through His Son, Jesus Christ, for the forgiveness of sins. That's part of what Jesus secured for us when He was crucified at Passover. Sister Gwen, can you at 1 John 2, 1 through 2? Here in a moment, Sister Barbara, can you get Romans 7:15?
First John chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. My dear children, I write this letter to you, so you will not sin. But if anyone does sin, we have a helper in the presence of the Father, Jesus Christ, the one who does what is right. He died in our place to take away our sins, and not only our sins, but the sins of all people.
Okay, so we get forgiven. Yeah, I'm reminded of something that Brother Fred used to say. He said, once you know something, you're responsible for it.
Yeah.
So we get forgiven of our sins, but if this is revealed to us that we have unforgiveness to somebody, even if it was 40 years ago, we then become responsible for it. We have to forgive that person. Even if they're dead. Because when you forgive someone, you're setting a prisoner free. And that prisoner is you. So what happens when you don't know what to pray for? It's like we go to doctors when we can't figure out what's wrong with our physical body. When we go to a Christian counselor, when we can't seem to be victorious over an attitude or an action or reaction that is wrong in our spiritual life. Romans, please.
7 and 15 says, for what I am doing, I do not understand. For what I will to do, that I do not practice, but what I hate, that I do.
And I think we all do that. I certainly do. God's word advises us to seek Christian counseling. Proverbs 11:14 says, where there is no counsel, people fall. Where there is a multitude of counselors, there is safety. Tell with my insurance company I can maybe afford one. That's a joke. Okay, so what does that mean?
Sometimes we don't even know what our problem is. Somebody sees you with bad behavior and everything, you think, well, I think this for 4 years. You know, well, no, I'm all right. Then they say, no, you can't be all right. What is it? And you know, you don't know why you're feeling the way you do, but sometimes it's good to go, I quote, Christian counselor. Be sure it's a Christian counselor because I had a problem when I first, I just tell you the truth. Be sure it is a Christian counselor because I went to a person who was a counselor all the way back, on and everything. And that nuts, tear up paper and break the dishes and crap and stuff like that. And I'm like, are you crazy? Anyway, you are. I said, you know, you need something. Yeah. And I said, I serve Jesus. They can't help me, man. I know you need to see a doctor. But anyway, the thing about it is, be sure that you see a Christian counselor. They are under the law, but they can't say anything that you tell them. they're not supposed to do it, they're, can't be liable for anything they let just leak out, so you want to be sure you, go to somebody that's, Christian counselor, but yeah, when I wanna do good, you go to your counselor, you know, I'm doing this, but I don't understand, you know, why I'm doing this, and then you start to investigate, and might be something back in your childhood or something that falls
Yeah.
on that anger.
Can I insert something right quick? Let's just get this out of the way. All the stuff that you've dealt with, everything that you've built up, happened in your childhood, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah.
There's things that's embedded in there, bitter roots and things in there that affect everything you do, even growing up in your teenage years and all that. Psychology, psychologists,
Yeah.
would after they all have concurred and that you're becoming who you're going to be for the rest of your life between the ages of 18 and 21. There's a lot of validity in that, I believe. I believe there's a lot of time in that span that you're transitioning from, you know, this child into, or supposed to be, let's say it that way, child into an adult. But even there's one of the greatest men of God I ever known, Pastor Malin Hellman. Right before he was about a month or two before he died, he's 76 years old, pastor, won many people to Christ, was at the altar at the feast, one of the feasts, and the Lord convicted his heart that he still had something against somebody from his childhood. It's surprising when you delve into that, how deeply rooted things are from your childhood and from that period that affect everything you do today. And it can corrupt your forgiveness, it can corrupt your heart, it can corrupt your just your whole attitude towards life. And sometimes you don't even know, you don't even recognize it.
Oh,
I'm gonna use a car analogy here. Here lately, I've been working on a car, and I can't figure out what's wrong with it. So when that happens, what do? You don't have to call. Now, here's what the problem is, this is what it's doing. What do you think would be the problem? Sometimes they can come up with an idea that you haven't tried yet. And how much more so when there's a problem in your Christian walk? You know, you got a problem, you have no idea what the cause is, where it comes from, or what to do about it. And quite often, it will be something as we're describing here. It will be something that dates back to, you know, you were 4 years old, or, you know, somebody that hurt you, or you've totally forgotten about it. The Christian counseling can bring it out. So weren't all my sins forgiven when I accepted Jesus as my Savior? Read 1 John 1 and 9. You still there, Sister Gwen?
Yeah, 1 John 1 and 9. But if we confess our sins, he will forgive our sins, because we can trust God to do what is right. He will cleanse us from all the wrongs we have done.
So the answer is yes. When you receive Jesus as your Savior, you receive the tools that you need to be victorious in your life. Yeah. However, we must all admit that we haven't been perfect since that moment on. Right. Why not? Because there's still some areas of our heart that have not yet believed. Right. Yeah, I read somewhere, somebody made the argument that probably the best thing that happened to us is we get saved and then die before we can mess up. Well, that's a little bit extreme.
I understand the point. I understand the point of that. And just one last thing about the young, like there's kids in here right now doing their own thing, but they're hearing everything, you know? Subconsciously, they're hearing everything we say. At your house, they're hearing everything you say and do. They're seeing everything you say and do, and they can make inner vows or judgments. I'll never be like him, or I'll never be like her. So that onus is on us. When we do these dedications, that's for the husband and wife, or the mother or father, whatever, you know, however that applies to them, the aunts and uncles, grandparents, all of us in the church. That's to us. to teach them a godly way. I forgot to add that a while ago. I just wanted to add that. They're listening. They're hearing everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they, after raising 4 kids, I've had the unpleasant experience of hearing my words come out of the kids'
Back
mouth.
at you. Yeah.
Usually thrown at me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But you did.
I was thinking not only childhood things that resurface, but what about PTSD, where people have this, war and different things, and that's really anything. They have to, their mind says they can deal with, you've seen all these buddies shot all to pieces. Your mind says you forgive those people do that. But your heart says, and they need help, they need to find a Christian counselor to help them, through those hard times, because they have those dreams and they see all that, and it goes over and over.
Agree with that. That's a good point. But the principle's still the same. Doesn't matter if it was in childhood or if you were in war or whatever. It's the act of someone betraying or hurting you or whatever. It's that act that has to have forgiveness.
But some of it's very dramatic.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. So yeah, that's a great point. That's all I'm really on.
No, that's a good point. I would venture to say that there's a lot of people in this world right now that need counseling and don't even know
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
it. I went and saw a counselor when I was about 40. And, well, that was an interesting experience because it was costing $75 an hour. And my counselor wouldn't shut up.
We didn't know what you said.
Oh, and I would say about this much, and then, she'd spend the rest of the hour talking. And I kept wondering, why do I keep going back to that? Something told me to keep going. And when I finally got the release, was after I had the opportunity to witness to her.
There you go.
And after that, I didn't feel I need to go anymore. So I guess it wasn't really about counseling, it was about being there to do a job.
Right.
Well, and two,
Amen.
even ministers that are ministers, everybody needs to talk about issues that seem to bother them. And there's nothing wrong with a minister talking to another minister or to somebody that they really trust. Because everybody has issues every day. Oh, yeah, I tell you, they kept bugging me. I said,
I'd go one step further. Nothing wrong. It should be required.
yeah.
A psychologist has to be seen by another psychologist
Yeah, because
once a year.
Issues.
Because you're hearing all this negative stuff. Whether you want to admit it, you're supposed to be the, I know what I'm doing guy, right? And pastors or Christians or whatever, you're hearing all this stuff. You've got to get your heart checked every once in a while too.
Yeah, I know, one minister says he has another minister that's his counselor. Because you go through issues, and this happened, now, you may know the word of God, in fact, you do know it, really well. But then you can get in a whirlwind with your emotions that, I've been in that place, that you can get in a whirlwind with your emotions, and even though you know that, you can't help yourself, somebody's got to help you. So we should never be afraid when we got that PTSD. Now you take, for instance, when I had that issue with my hair, that was traumatic stress on me, boy. I can't even hardly go get a pair of scissors. But y'all see,
Have you forgiven that lady? Have you
You
forgiven
know,
that lady that violated you?
I did forgive her, but it just kept coming up, and I thought, God's gonna take care of this.
Are you letting her work on your hair anymore?
And I was at the same, no. That's the senior.
That's wise. That's wisdom.
Forgive but not forget.
I was at the senior citizen thing crying all the time, one I am crying all the time about it. And one of my friends, Lenny, said, Barbara, stop that crying. I know. He said, it'll either go back or it won't.
Wow. Well, that's counseling.
I'm trying not to picture her with your head.
Yeah.
Either go back or won't.
It wasn't to that extreme.
I don't
And
want
you have people saying, I wouldn't be going around looking like that if it was me, I'd put on a wig. That made it worse, so, yeah, we all have issues that come up. That was a big issue. I understood how people suffer from that post-traumatic syndrome now. It wasn't for my friends, I wouldn't have been able to make it.
Okay, I'm gonna reread this, I've probably read it already. Okay, when you receive Jesus as your Savior, you receive the tools you need to be victorious in your life. However, we must all admit that we haven't been perfect since that moment on. Why not? Because there's still some areas of our heart that have not yet believed. Yeah, I read a really good analogy one time. And it was written by a minister that was associated with Billy Graham. This guy was ex-military. And he used a military analogy for it. He said your heart is like an island. And when you get saved, you take a beachhead. But then you have to conquer the rest of the island. And you can only do that a little bit at a time. And that's the process of sanctification. If we're honest, have you got something?
No.
Okay. If we're honest with ourselves, most of us will admit that there's still areas of our life that we're working on, bring up to the godly standards set forth in His Word. Put it bluntly, we still have issues.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly we do.
Oh, yeah.
So any commentary? Anybody want to comment on that?
Well, we all have issues, and, what's bad is when they were, you're in the service with your Christian brother and sister, and they're acting out, and you think, I guess I'm just gonna have to tell this tonight. And, and then the Holy Spirit says, no, you ain't telling no one, no. And you think, well, what's their issue, for Pete's sake? And then God shows you. They might, and they really got an issue that they needed counseling over. They show you, God is like, let me show you what the issue is. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that was even like that. Boy, it straightened me up. Now, God might not always show everybody what the issues are, so we just have to rely on the Word of God that says we have to be paid. But,
You know what? I think, no matter how much you love the Lord and you try to live the Lord, unless you say the Word every day and you pray every day, you are going to be used of the devil.
Sure.
I'm having a problem with my son now, and he's living in a volatile situation. And I've been trying to get over to him. He'll call me, and he'll be just so upset, just ranting and raving and carrying on. And I'm saying, I'm trying to get through to him because you're upset about what's going on with this coronavirus and you're having that. He hasn't got 1 cent he's been out of work for almost 6 weeks.
Goodness.
He hasn't got a checker. Well, he's upset and he's torn up, But he's letting this just upset him and just destroy his whole life. And I cannot seem to get it through to him, that God is in charge. If you just pray and believe and hang on and trust, God's got a reason to work it out.
Certainly.
Well, then he was offered this part-time job, 3 days a week, and he's so happy in it. He loves being out working outside. Because his other job he was in four walls. But still, just this morning, I almost had to hang up on him because he was just so upset about something. He's letting these things control him.
He said,
And I know that if he would just get on his knees and get in the word, God would give him that peace.
well, you are counseling, you know, you're counseling.
Yeah, and I think it illustrates the point being made here, the flip side of it. Because we all have issues. Sometimes we forget everybody else does too.
Right.
And you never know when somebody's in a mental crisis of some sort.
Yeah.
They may not show it, they may not say anything about it, but you know, in their family, in their home, in their life in general, they got something big going on.
Sure.
And when all of a sudden they snap at you, you don't know what's causing that.
What's so disturbing is when you think, oh, I'm reading my Bible, praying on a 1 to 10, I'm an 8. You know, you get to think, I'm an 8 now, boy. And then somebody does something, you back down to 2.
I figured you were gonna say somebody moved the decimal point, you're at a 0.8.
Let me just insert this in conjunction with your storm on the beach metaphor there, or analogy. You can't, you and me, we can't save anybody. You can't save your son, only Jesus can, right? So sometimes you have to be careful. I heard someone say it, and I loved it, said, cancel my subscription to your issues. Sometimes you just have to understand that this person dragging me with them, or am I helping them? There's sometimes all you can do for somebody is pray for them, period. We can't save them. All we can do is offer them the word and the light. But you have to understand, and like I said, in conjunction with your analogy there of storm on the beach, I've got enough issues of my own, right? And then when stuff comes there, if I'm not prayed up and read my Bible and all that, God will give you that word for them, and then they have to either receive it or reject it. But you can't just sit there and keep on, well, you didn't get it. Yeah, probably won't. When's the last time you got something the first time from God? Sometimes you got to get spanked.
He probably needs a Christian counselor who's trying to.
I'm not just talking about him, I'm talking about everybody. Got to be a change of heart.
So, we can't trust people. We can't trust men. We can't trust women. We can't trust God because we couldn't trust our own earthly father. You know, we have a tendency to think of God in human terms.
Yeah. Sure.
Talking about, you know, our earthly fathers. My dad, there were times when I was a kid that I really didn't like my dad. But from this point in time and having raised a few kids myself, I think he was doing the best he could.
Great.
In fact, some of the issues, kind of what I was talking about a moment ago, my dad had gout. He had to work with that. He had dyslexia. He had to work with that. He had several things going on. And, you know, he had some things happen when he was growing up. So, I can't judge my dad.
Right.
The only thing I can do looking back on my dad is have great respect for him.
Sure.
So, anyway, we were talking about trusting God. Now, if you project that impression about people onto God, yeah, you're going to think God's going to fail you. He won't. He's above all that. I think I'm preaching to the choir here, though.
That's all right. You got people in line.
So
here too.
we're mad at God because bad things have happened to us and He didn't stop them. Well, the Bible does say that was going to happen. If you follow Christ, what happened to Christ, you can expect to happen to you. And all of that, it says it rains on the just and the unjust. We're all going to have problems. And these are just a few examples of issues that people are dealing with. my wife, back in 2010, had cancer. And we were, of course, worried. So she goes in, she has surgery, and she comes out, and naturally she's hurting and everything else. She turns on the TV, she's watching Oprah or something, and she keeps running across people talking about bad things that have happened to them. And they're mad at God. Well, I don't like God, He let this happen to me. How could He do that? And it confused her because God didn't make that cancer happen. It's just something that happened. And, she said, how could I be mad at God?
Right.
And she couldn't understand why these people would be, but everybody got different ways of looking at things.
Well, don't take your advice from Oprah. Whatever you do.
Yeah.
Don't take your advice from Oprah.
I can't tell you how many years it's been since I watched any of those shows.
Yeah, me either. Is she still on there? Or she still got a show?
I'm like,
She still got one. Still got one? I do know that I saw a story on her here a while back that said she's out teaching, there's, no matter what you do or pray, there's only one God, there's many ways to get to Him, and when you're Hindu, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, sorry, no. And she was on the stage, it's actually a video clip, she's talking about the balance in your life, and she actually fell down. I was like, well, there you go.
Well, if she believed in karma, I guess everything happened.
Sure. I like caramel and apples, but that's about it.
But,
Yeah.
okay.
It's me and David show right now. We get each other.
So while the blood of Jesus washes away our sins, we still have to deal with the strongholds in our heart by taking them to the cross and forgiving the people who have trespassed against us. John 20:23.
Seems like that.
if you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven them. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained. Is that, John, right?
That's right.
20:23.
That's right. Listen to it out of Amplified. It says, if you forgive the sins of anyone, they are forgiven because of their faith. If you retain the sins of anyone, they are retained and remain unforgiven because of their unbelief. Love the clarity of stuff like that.
You know, we say we trust God. You can rationalize it all you want to. It comes down where's your faith at.
Right.
God, does He have control? Is He in control? Is He going to do right by us? Of course He is. I think we just rest in Him, take it to the Lord, and pray for the person or each other, whatever.
Right.
Let God handle.
Yeah.
He can't save nobody, and I can't either.
Right.
But I can love you in the Lord, and that's to be there for you in prayer.
That's right.
I had a guy tell me, he said, I don't have no problem. I said, you don't? No, I said, well, I have, what do you mean? He said, well, God's in control. That's what he says. I don't have it. He said, I get up, don't worry about it. If something comes to my mind, if I feel like it's wrong, I don't worry about it. I just say, God, you know, you take control of it. If a man can come that way, he'd say some pretty hard with it.
Not always easy. I had a friend, he was joking, of course, but we were talking about that scripture that says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And he said, yeah, sometimes I pray, Lord, let me be the vehicle of that vengeance, or part of it. Be the instrument of that vengeance. So we laughed about it. Moved on.
If we don't let the Lord have control it, you'll worry yourself to death over it. You can't straighten a person out. He's got to come to a place himself where, Lord, please forgive me, and I want to make sure I'm saved. Come into my heart. and I'm gonna trust you with my life. He's gotta do that, you can't do it for him. And that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and if you straighten out one person, then there's still a whole planet full of other people. I don't think you got enough time.
And if you have an issue come up, if you forgive them right then and there fast, you forgive them, you never forgive them, but if you don't, then you hold that bitterness in there, and that's what that root starts. And the more you think about it, the worse it gets. And every time you see that person, and then you go about your merry little way, you know, and then when you see them, there's that little one.
You ever get mad at somebody who did something and then it didn't even have anything to do with you?
This next lesson is really a good lesson on that. Relationship.
Years ago, Terry and I were gonna buy a house.
Okay.
And so we were gonna take a trip down to my father-in-law. We drove past the house we were interested in, just in time to see the next door neighbor hauling out the carpet. And I got mad. I was mad all the way to mountain. Till finally, all of a sudden, the thought popped in my head, wait a minute, that's not your house. Why are you getting mad about that? I got over it finally. But that did show me that I didn't want to move in next door to that guy. So, remember, Jesus made this part of our daily prayer to God the Father, Matthew 6:9-15, which of course being the Lord's Prayer.
In this manner, therefore, pray, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our sins, our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from evil, from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. We probably should pray that every day. That one prayer every day.
You know, if you have Madison to do the Lord's Prayer, you do it that quick.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of that little type. Well, our sins were forgiven when we initially got saved. What about the people who trespassed against us since then? What about the sins that were hidden and forgotten that reappeared later? We all need help at time in our lives. Christian counselor's sole purpose is to lead you into a prayer of forgiveness for those who have abused and trespassed against you.
Right.
And aren't you tired of carrying that weight all by yourself?
Yeah.
Jesus wants you to be free of it. And a Christian counselor can help. You know, dealing with that stuff all by yourself. You can eventually get there, maybe. Actually, I doubt if you would ever work out all of it. All right. So, questions, comments?
Good teaching.
All right. I guess that's a wrap.
Let's pray it out, bro.
Yeah. Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this lesson. Thank you for this day. Thank you for your many, many blessings. Lord, we ask you to be with us as we go into the praise and worship service.
Yes, Father.
Lord, for your glory. And you be glorified, and Lord, we welcome your spirit. In Jesus' name.
Amen. All right, got 10 minutes. Grab you some coffee. If you need to know, you keep it if you want. You can have that one. There's hand sanitizer on the front door, and there's some out here by the coffee machine.